I've said this before and I'll say it again. The black community has the absolute worst leadership. I mean, seriously. We got rappers and entertainers out here trying to start political parties and trying to act like fake revolutionaries, except really they're just pawns for the Democrat Party repackaged in a so-called revolutionary way. And that's exactly what Sean P. Diddy Combs is saying. And the P stands for pimped, because it has become apparent to me that Sean P. Diddy Combs has been pimped by the Democrat Party. Now, he came out with his video with Charlamagne the God, who, some people may be able to call Charlamagne the devil if you've listened to some of his sexual preferences. But anyways, they come out with this video, and basically, Diddy wants to start a black political party. I'm not sure if it's a third party or if it's like a think tank or what. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But throughout this interview, I watched it. It just became super apparent to me that Diddy is really, to be quite honest with you guys, is nothing but a HOE for the Democrat Party. Nothing more, nothing less. And his job really is to wrangle in all the disaffected black men who are thinking about voting for Trump, and to basically try to use his pro-blackness, aka really what it is pro-liberalism, to try to wrangle them in to make sure that they continue to vote for Biden. And that's really what his job is, and that Diddy is nothing more than just the Democrat plant. And some people might, listen to my commentary and be like, oh, why are you criticizing him like that, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm doing it because it's nothing more than constructive criticism. Our black party is nothing more than Black Lives Matter with some makeup on. That's nothing. That's all it is, which is basically a globalist agenda. That's all it is. So let's go ahead and take a look at this interview and break it down.
A couple of months I told everybody, hold a vote hostage. A lot of things have gone on since then. None of us expected. I think this president has done a great job of rattling America. When you move in fear, you don't have any leverage. Mm-hmm. The way I felt before is the way I still feel. Things have got too serious of a point. Seeing what's going on, white men like Trump need to be banished.
See, it's funny how you say that, but there are pictures of you on the internet hanging out with Trump a long time ago. I mean, at parties, doing rich people things. And now all of a sudden, white people like Trump need to be banished. But back then, when you was hanging out with him and laughing and smiling and drinking and having a good time, you didn't have a problem with Trump. But now that he's president, all of a sudden he needs to be banished. And it's just very interesting to see how these people all of a sudden get Trump derangement syndrome just because the guy's president. It's really interesting.
That way of thinking is real dangerous. Mm-hmm. This man literally threatened the lives of us and our families about going to vote.
Mm-hmm. Stand back and stand by.
Stand back and stand by.
Yeah.
Again, garbage. Garbage. I mean, again, they let the Democrat Party and the liberal media trick people into believing that the Proud Boys are somehow some type of threat to the black community and that they're some type of white supremacist group, when the leader of the Proud Boys is a half black, half Cuban dude. I don't understand exactly where they get this from, right? That the Proud Boys are some type of white supremacist group. Okay, they might be far right, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are white supremacists. So, I mean, again, this is just more Democrat propaganda. That's all it is.
We're not standing by no more getting killed. We're not scared of anybody standing up and standing by. We're on the verge of a race war. Mm.
I wouldn't say we're on the verge of a race war. I would say that we might be on the verge of a small civil conflict that involves, some black issues, but I'm not necessarily sure if it's going to be a quote unquote race war.
People in America want a race war. They'll not vote. I'm an independent, first of all.
No, you're not. You're a Democrat. You're a super liberal, Democrat, globalist. That's what you are. So you might politically on paper be independent, But in practicality, you're a far left liberal who is pushing a globalist agenda, just like the masters of the Democrat Party want you to push. That's what he is.
When I vote, I try to do what's best for my community.
Let's be clear on that. You're not standing behind your decision to hold your vote anymore. You want people to go out there and vote.
It would be irresponsible of me to have us hold our vote hostage. But it would also be irresponsible of me to just let this moment go by. The world is watching.
No, what's irresponsible is to sit here and act like President Trump is the worst thing in the world for black people. That's what's irresponsible. What's irresponsible is to pretend like you have the answers to the needs of the black community or anybody in general when you don't. When it's quite obvious that you are pushing just a radical left agenda, but you're sitting here trying to act like you're some type of fake revolutionary, like you're changing things. When all you're doing at the end of the day, you're just trying to wrangle in the disaffected Negroes who may be thinking about Trump, and you're trying to get them to say, no, you need to continue to vote for Biden. That's all you're doing. That's your job. That's your job. So don't sit here and talk about something being irresponsible, vote for Trump. Because if he was a real revolutionary, you would say, don't vote or vote for Trump. But whatever you do, no matter what, don't vote for the Democrat Party. If you was a real revolutionary, that's what you would say. Because that is doing something different. What you're doing right now is nothing different. It's just Black Lives Matter with lipstick on it. That's all it is.
And not do everything I can to make sure that going forth that we're a part of the narrative, that we own our politics. And so I'm launching one of the boldest movements that I've ever launched. And it's called Our Black Party. Okay. It's time for us to have...
AKA Black Lives Matter with lipstick. That's all it is. There's nothing bold about it. There's nothing new about it. Nothing they're talking about in there is revolutionary. Nothing at all. Nothing that Sean P. Diddy Combs is saying in this interview is revolutionary. Nothing at all. All it is just him trying to rebrand Black Lives Matter under a different name with different people at the top. With different faces controlling it. That's all it is. Just another extension of the Democrat Party. That's all it is. All right, guys, do this thought exercise with me for a second. Imagine if we lived in a world where Diddy was white and he was like, I want to start our white party. Which honestly, for me, to be consistent, I literally wouldn't care about, me personally. If you want to start a white party, go for it. But just imagine what the mainstream media and what the general population would think. They'd be like, oh, this is racist. This is a white supremacist. This is unacceptable. Think about that. So when people want to talk about privilege, right, there's no way you could ever come out and be like, what is your white agenda? What are you going to do for white people? No, I mean, like I said, like there's not millions of poor white people in this country. Like black people are not the only people that are poor. White people are also poor, right? And there's poor Asians, poor Indians, poor Hispanics, there's poor people all over the country. So when you ask, like, what are you going to do for, what is your white agenda? How are you going to help white America? Whew, like, I just can't imagine what the reaction would be if somebody was to actually say that. But I would not be surprised with the way things are going if that question is actually asked at some point.
Our own black political party, unapologetically. Because right now, if you look at the debates, we're not even a part of the conversation.
Not at all.
We're not a...
This is a lie. Every single debate they ask about race. Every single debate, there's always a question about race. And then these people sit here saying they're not a part of the conversation. Just because they're not talking about reparations. Apparently people think if you're not talking about reparations, you're not talking about black issues. Because there's just some people that just all they want is a check. Really. I mean, I'm so serious. All they want is a check. They don't care about how they get the check, the practicality of giving the check, whether or not they're going to actually get the check. They just think they're going to get one. And a lot of these Negroes are going to be upset when they find out they're not getting a check, even if reparations was issued. And it's a really sad thing because you got a lot of people that think that the only black issue there is and the most important black issue is reparations, and that's just not true. The most important black issue right now is the lack of fathers in the home and the lack of financial literacy. Those are the two biggest black issues in the community right now. And these people are not addressing it at all because the Democrat Party doesn't want them to address it. That's why they're not addressing it.
Political power, we don't have any political leverage. And so we started Our Black Party with some young, fearless black activists, elected officials, and I've stepped up and put the money behind it. This is the biggest threat and the only option that we have right now as far as making a change, taking our own self-responsibility and accountability to be educated and empowered with our vote.
So what's the goal for our Black Party?
To push the globalist/Democrat agenda. That's what the goal of our Black Party is. Don't get it twisted. That's what the goal is. Okay?
Our Black Party's #1 goal is to unify behind a Black agenda. And we have to seize our political power, because it'll just be more the same. Being pushed this way, being pushed that way, and we expecting a different result.
So why are you voting Biden for then? If what you're talking about in this whole interview is how you've been screwed over for so long in politics, and 90 to 95% of Black people have been voting Democrat. But yet you're sitting here talking about doing more the same, which is voting for Biden, because you feel that Trump is so bad. And what these people don't understand is that they know nothing about politics. And this is why you can't have rappers and entertainers being your leaders. You can't, because they know nothing at all. Because what you fail to realize is that only thing they're doing is that they're giving the blueprint for the Democrat Party to denigrate the next Republican candidate. That's all they're doing. When you say, I can't vote for Trump, I don't want to vote for Democrat or Joe Biden, but I can't vote for Trump, therefore I'm voting for Biden. Only thing you're telling Democrats is that, okay, the next Republican candidate that come around, we're going to say that he's Trump. That's what we're going to do. It's the same thing they've been doing ever since the Civil Rights era. Every Republican candidate is racist. It's the exact same formula. It's the exact same formula. And that's all it is. Now they're going to just kick it up a notch and say, well, not only is he racist, but he's like Trump. They'll do that to the next Republican candidate, no matter who it is. And these people don't realize them being so gun-ho against Trump, all they're doing is giving the Democrats the formula to keep their vote. That's all they're doing.
But the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over the same way, expecting a different result. And it's
exactly. And you're an insane person. You're an insane person, which is why you're not in a position to lead anybody anywhere at all.
Not going to happen. So we have to change the tone. We got to start with us stepping up and really taking the responsibility and accountability.
Yes, we have to start with taking responsibility and accountability for putting fathers back in the homes. That's what we got to start with first. Then we got to start with educating our kids on financial literacy, taking care of their money, going to school, and demanding excellence. And then we got to take responsibility and start to work to sacrifice to leave them something in the future that they can build on. And that's how you truly build generational wealth. It's called sacrifice.
To be a part of this political movement.
The hardest part of that is going to be getting other Black people to buy into it.
This is not.
Yeah, because anybody that got a brain can see that this is nothing but Black Lives Matter rebranded. That's why it's going to be hard to get Black people to buy into it.
For all Black people. You know what I'm saying? This is not for the scary ones.
But you're talking about this is not for the scary ones, but you're doing nothing revolutionary. You're doing nothing revolutionary. Do you know what it's like to be a Black Trump supporter? To have people calling you a coon, sell out Uncle Tom every single day? Ice Cube doesn't even support Trump. He's made it clear, I am not a Trump supporter. But he's called a coon and a sellout. And they're currently trying to cancel Ice Cube. Just for even considering working with Trump. But you're sitting here talking about this ain't for the scary folks, but you're scared to come out and just be like, you know what? We're just going to vote Trump. We don't care. We don't care. We're going to vote Trump no matter what. If you're a revolutionary and you wasn't scared, that's what you would say. I don't care what we get, because you've already acknowledged you're not getting anything out of this election. So what do you have to lose by voting for Trump? Nothing. Zero. You have nothing to lose. So put your money where your mouth is and be like, you know what? I'm voting for Trump no matter what, because I want to show the Democrats that you have to earn my vote. Because otherwise you're just talking.
This is for the ones that want to move things forward and want to get to the smoke.
Our Black Party is for those who want to continue to till the Democrat plantation. That's what our Black Party is for. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to just tear down Diddy. I'm not. But I'm sick and tired of these Black celebrities coming out here trying to speak for us, and they have nothing to say. Acting like they're fake revolutionaries when all they're trying to tell you is to do the same thing we've been doing, which is vote for Biden, which is vote Democrat. That's the only thing they're saying. This dude in a roundabout way is just saying, you know what? I'm just going to keep voting Democrat. This whole charade, and this interview is really an hour long, It's just him in a roundabout way talking about how they're going to continue to vote Democrat. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I played the game with the Democratic Party. The people that I went and campaigned for, after they got elected, I don't feel like they really did anything to change the reality of black people.
Of course they didn't. Because your number one problem is depending on a politician to change your circumstances. That's your number one problem. You know, it's not like I'm sitting here thinking that Trump is going to change the world for black people. No, I know at the end of the day, for me as an individual, I have to take responsibility for my own situation. I have to take responsibility to put money in my pocket. And I'm better off worrying about that than I am worried about politics. Now, I support President Trump because I support his policies. I'd rather pay less taxes than more taxes. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I just think he's better than the Democrats. And I think that the Republicans are actually willing to talk and actually work on something. But at the same time, I'm not dense enough to think that they're going to save the world. No. Only you can change your own situation. And I think that's the problem with Diddy and these other black celebrities is that they're going to politicians thinking that they're going to change the world for them. No. Does politics matter? Yes. But do you need politics? No. Look at the Asian community. They're the least politically involved, but they have the highest income per capita. Because you don't necessarily need politics. It's nice. It's helpful. It's good. But you don't need it. And so you need to stop depending on these politicians and thinking that they're going to come save you. That's your number one problem. Yes, there are some things they can enact at a government level to help and to help get out the way, which is why, again, I support Republicans because they want less government. That's something that we can do. Criminal justice reform is definitely something that we could do. However, I'm not expecting them to ultimately save the black community. Criminal justice reform is not going to save the black community. Will it help? Sure. Will it save us? No.
Like I was blessed enough to find God come to me and tell me my purpose. And he told me my purpose is to play a part in saving the black race.
This is the same guy who Mace accused of basically doing bad business deals and stealing money from his artists. I mean, he's up here talking about, you know, trying to save his race and all that. And again, this is what annoys me about Diddy. He's acting like he's some type of revolutionary figure when he's not talking about nothing. He ain't talking about nothing at all. Nothing. He hasn't said one thing revolutionary in this whole clip that I've been showing you guys. And then he's talking about, I feel like I've been called by God to save the black race. Okay, why have you not been taking care of your own artists? Why do you have your artists calling you out and saying the exact same thing? Like, bro, you out here asking other people to do stuff for you, but you can't even treat your own artists right. The people that's on your label, who are mainly black. Which, again, comes back to the main problem in the black community. We're sitting around here asking other people to do things for us that we don't even want to do for ourselves. Diddy is a lost soul, man. He really is.
The Vote or Die Diddy was about politics and, you know, trying to be supportive. You can't keep on giving your power away for free. You know, this is black insanity. We keep on doing the same thing over and over, the same way, expecting a different result.
Which is why you should just vote for Trump. If you know this, why don't you just be like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what Trump does. I don't care what he says. I'm going to vote for him. And I'm going to try to work with Republicans because what we're doing with the Democrats are not working. It literally doesn't make sense. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. On one hand, you're saying that the Democrats have screwed us over, working with them hasn't led anywhere. And on the other side of your mouth, you're saying, what, but just not Trump. And again, only thing you're doing is you're giving the Democrats the blueprint to continue to trick you into voting for them. That's the only thing you're doing. Because the next candidate, I guarantee you, the next candidate, Republican candidate, the only thing they're going to say is he's like Trump. That's what they're going to say.
Now we in a trick bag, as my mother would say. You know what I'm saying?
Explain that.
You know, that's old Harlem hustler lingo, is when you're in a situation, you're like in a catch-22. Between COVID hitting us and because we weren't organized for this election, we have no choice now to get Trump out of there.
Yeah, no, you have a choice. You do have a choice. You have a choice to go to the ballot box and you can vote for Joe Biden, you can vote for Trump, you can vote for Kanye, you can vote for third party, whoever you want to vote for. Don't sit and try to tell people they don't have a choice. You have a choice. Trump has not hurt the black community. Trump has not hurt anybody. Trump has not been nearly as bad and nearly as a disaster, domestically or internationally, than the Democrats tried to frame that he would be. Not at all. Trump has not started one war. Trump has tried to bring peace to the Middle East. He's tried to bring peace to the Korean Peninsula. Trump has been tough on Russia. Trump has done the opposite of everything that the Democrats said he would do. It is what it is. Domestically, our economy was doing great. It didn't fall apart. Incomes went up. The market was at an all-time high until this COVID thing happened. And even then, we've bounced back. So again, I don't understand what this man is talking about.
It's a shame and it's our responsibility that we did not get any.
I mean, matter of fact, now that I think about it, he probably has more money in his pocket thanks to Trump. He has more money in his pocket that he can use to help create change in the black community, to help promote fathers being in households, to help promote financial literacy, to help promote taking self-responsibility, to promote the things that we actually really do need in order to change our culture. He has the power to do that, but he won't do it. He'd rather ask a politician to do it for him. And then sit here and act like he's some type of fake revolutionary, like he's doing something different. And he's not.
Anything out of putting Biden in the place he's in after the primaries.
They gave us Senator Harris as the VP. I mean, those are some of the things we were asking for. Black agenda could be way stronger.
How is Kamala Harris being VP? What does that do for black people? I mean, you have the worst ticket for black people, Kamala and Joe Biden. You got the architect of the crime bill and a state prosecutor. I mean, come on, man. And you're sitting here like just because Kamala is so-called black, even though, again, there's a question of whether or not she's actually black. You know, a lot of people contend that she's actually Indian, right? And you think that that's doing something for you. And this is the game that the Democrats play with these liberals. That's what they do. This is the game they play. It's all about colorism. It's not about ideas. It's not about any of that. It's about colorism. That's what it's about. And they fall for it, hook, line, and sinker every single time. Well, we need a black this, a black that. You just had a black president for 8 years. And you still complaining? I thought so that means that what that means is that having a black politician or black president or even a black Supreme Court justice or a black vice president, that ain't doing nothing for you. It's just colorism. That's all it is.
Way stronger.
Hey, when you look at it, we don't have no choice. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you want about Biden. I can't say I love the pick either. But hey, we got to get him in office, and then we got to hold him accountable.
So how do we do that? In addition to voting, what else is Sean Combs going to do?
Not a damn thing. Sean Combs is not going to do anything to hold Biden accountable. Nothing. Because the only thing that's going to happen is come next election, if Biden does win, all they're going to do is frame the Republican candidate as Trump. And he's going to turn around and be like, oh, no, we can't do it. That's what they're going to do. Every single time. Hook, line, and sinker. They've given the Democrats the formula to keep black people on the plantation. But real quick, before I end this video, we can take a look at the Our Black Party website. As you can see real quick, if you go to the agenda, right at the top, defunding the police. That's why I try to tell you guys that this is nothing but a rebranded version of globalist Black Lives Matter agenda. That's what it's about. And then if you go to contribute, it takes you straight to Act Blue. And some people might say, well, Act Blue is just a payment processor. It doesn't have anything. You know, it's just a payment processor for the Democrat Party. If you're really detached from the Democrat Party, you would detach yourself in all ways. If you want to truly be independent, you would not use anything associated with the Democrat Party. You use some type of independent payment processor. There's options that you can have. There's plenty of solutions out there. You do not have to go through Act Blue to take donations. But it's right there. It's just go straight to actblue.com to donate to Our Black Party. I mean, it's really ridiculous for this man to try to imply that they're doing anything different when really he's just a fake revolutionary and he's really just talking. He doesn't have any ideas. He doesn't have an agenda. He doesn't have anything. The only thing he's trying to do is boost his own personal brand as some super pro-black, really pro-liberal, pseudo-political figure for his own brand. That's all Diddy's doing. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.